Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're teaming up with QandAHelp. They're basically your ultimate prep platform for WAEC, NECO, and JAMB exams. We're gonna break down a WSC Biology past question together. And look, by the time we're done here, you won't just know the answer, you'll literally master the science behind it. Let's dive right in.
So here's our target for today. It's WAEC Biology question 12. It reads, a potted plant was placed in an experimental setup to measure the rate of water loss in plants. The instrument used to measure this rate is A. Potometer, B. Klinostat, C. Photometer, D. Hygrometer. Now, I want you to play detective with me for a second. The absolute biggest, most important clue? It's right there in the middle. It's the phrase, measure the rate of water loss. Whenever you're tackling a multiple choice question, finding that core action phrase, well, that's your golden ticket.
You know, what's really fascinating is how we translate that everyday phrase, water loss, into actual proper biological terminology. Because when a plant loses water, it's not sweating, right? It's undergoing a process called transpiration. Transpiration is simply the loss of water vapor from the aerial parts of a plant, and that mainly escapes through these tiny microscopic pores on the leaves called stomata. So to solve our question, we essentially need an instrument that acts as a biological detective to track this invisible vapor as it escapes into the air.
Okay, let's evaluate our suspects, starting with option A, the potometer. Now, a potometer is incredibly clever, but it actually has a bit of a secret. It doesn't fly around catching every single invisible drop of water vapor the plant breathes out. No way. Instead, it measures the rate at which a leafy shoot takes up water. Think of it kind of like watching how quickly a person drinks a glass of water through a transparent straw. Since we know that almost all the water a plant absorbs is eventually lost through transpiration, we can use that water uptake to accurately estimate the water loss. So, the absolute crucial point here is, water uptake is approximately equal to water lost due transpiration. And this perfectly illustrates exactly how the potometer gets the job done. It uses this really fine capillary tube with a tiny air bubble trapped inside. As the plant shoot drinks the water, it pulls that air bubble along the tube. It's super simple. Step 1, we just track the distance that little bubble moves. Step 2, we measure how much time it took to move that distance, usually with a stopwatch. And step 3, we calculate the rate by simply dividing the distance by the time. It's honestly a beautiful, highly visual way to measure a biological process that's happening in real time. Moving right along, let's look at option B and start our process of elimination, the klinostat. We can firmly cross this one out right away. Why? Well, a klinostat is essentially a rotating disc used to study plant growth responses to gravity, a process you might know as geotropism or gravitropism. It slowly spins a plant to cancel out the effect of gravity, so scientists can observe how the roots and shoots react. It's an amazing piece of equipment for sure, but it has absolutely nothing to do with measuring water loss. So option B, definitely out.
Next up is option C, the photometer. Now, the prefix photo is always a massive giveaway in biology. Think photosynthesis or even just photograph. Photo means light. So a photometer is a device used to measure light intensity. Don't let them trick you here. While it's absolutely true that the amount of sunlight hitting a plant can heavily influence how much it transpires, the instrument itself is just measuring the brightness of the light. It's not measuring the water actually leaving the plant. So we're going to cross out option C as well.
Finally, let's take a look at option D, the hygrometer. Again, this is a pretty clever trap set by the examiners. A hygrometer measures relative humidity, which is basically the amount of water vapor that's already floating around in the surrounding air. And just like with light, the humidity of the air totally affects transpiration. I mean, plants lose way less water if the air is already super moist. But a hygrometer just tells you about the weather in the room, right? It doesn't measure the plant's internal water movement or uptake. Therefore, option D gets a big red cross too. All right, here is your ultimate cheat sheet. Go ahead and take a mental screenshot of these 4 instruments side by side. You've got the potometer for water uptake, the klinostat for gravity responses, the photometer for light intensity, and the hygrometer for air humidity. Having this clean, simple mapping in your head is a fantastic shortcut. Whenever these instruments pop up in your future tests, you're going to be able to match them instantly without second-guessing yourself at all. So the path forward is crystal clear. We've eliminated the gravity spinner, the light meter, and the humidity gauge. That leaves us with the clear winner, completely deserving of a massive green tick. Option A, the potometer. Just remember the logical flow we built together today. The question asked about measuring water loss. We know that plant water loss is called transpiration, and the instrument that estimates transpiration by watching a plant drink is the potometer. Water loss leads to transpiration, leads to potometer. Excellent work. Moving right into our recap and quick quizzes sections. All right, here's quiz 1. Read it with me. Which instrument measures the humidity of the air? Is it A, Potometer, B, Hygrometer, C, Klinostat, or D, Photometer? I'll give you just a second to think about it. If you remembered our cheat sheet from earlier, you completely nailed it. The correct answer is B, hygrometer. It measures the moisture content of the air around us, acting way more like a weather station than a plant monitor. Moving right along to quiz 2. Which process causes most water loss from the leaves of a plant? A, respiration, B, germination, C, transpiration, or D, pollination? Think back to the very first connection we made when we were decoding the exam question. Okay, got it? That's right, the answer is C, transpiration. It's that invisible process of water vapor escaping through those tiny little stomata we talked about. Okay, let's turn up the heat a bit for quiz 3 with some practical math. A bubble moves 12 millimeters through a potometer tube in 4 minutes. What is its rate of movement? Now, don't panic if math isn't your favorite subject. Just think back to the formula we discussed. How exactly do we find a rate when we're given a distance and a time? Let's just break it down together, step by step. Step 1, we pull that handy formula from our toolkit. Rate equals distance divided by time. Step 2, we plug the numbers straight from the question right into that formula. Our distance is 12 millimeters and our time is 4 minutes. So we're looking at 12 divided by 4. And step 3 is just doing that simple division to calculate our final rate of water uptake. And there it is, 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So our final answer is 3 millimeters per minute. Remember, the faster the bubble moves, the higher the rate of water uptake, which tells us the plant is likely experiencing a really high rate of transpiration. You've just successfully applied biological theory to a real-world mathematical scenario. Honestly, that is exactly the kind of critical thinking examiners are looking for. You guys have done an absolutely incredible job tracking with me today. If you want to master more topics exactly like this for your WAEC, NECO, and JAMB exams, make sure you head over to QandAHelp.com. You can get started completely for free and access an amazing library of reviewer-checked past questions. And hey, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on our upcoming explainers. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. The next time you look at a quiet, perfectly still potted plant sitting in the sun, ask yourself, just how fast is that invisible river of water flowing upward through the stem and out into the air around you? It's pretty wild to think about. Thanks for learning with me today. Remember, for question 12, the answer is A, the potometer. I'll catch you in the next explainer.